The Trump administration recently implemented a 17% tariff on tomatoes imported from Mexico. The move is expected to impact Arizona's agricultural industry in a variety of ways. To learn more, we welcome Domenico Ferraro from the Economic Department at ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business. Good to have you here. Thank you so much.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. Okay. 17% duty on fresh tomatoes from Mexico. The goal, I believe, is to rebuild the U.S. tomato market in particular here. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it makes sense if you take the perspective of a Florida producer of tomato. They are a big producer of tomato, including California. So from that point of view, one could argue that these tariffs protect Florida producers, so they would benefit from this trade restriction to some extent. However, if you take the point of view of all the states that import tomatoes from Mexico, like Arizona, that is a big importer of tomatoes, then the perspective is different because there is no protection of any Arizona producers, but a tariff is going to increase the price of fresh tomato that we all going to find at grocery stores.
The impact on Arizona's tomato industry, the agricultural industry, I mean, the impact is a lot in a variety of ways in the sense that, I mean, you have to travel, you have folks that do the packing, that do the traveling, that do distribution and these sorts of things, and we're a border state. That's going to have to hit us pretty hard.
I agree, and it's going to affect the entire chain of distribution and production related to tomatoes. It's not only about the price of fresh tomatoes in a grocery store, it's also about the price of salads and pizzas that are produced with tomatoes. In addition to that, it's going to be the entire chain of distributors of fresh tomatoes to wholesalers and retailers that is likely to be affected by it.
So who absorbs these tariffs? Again, the Trump administration and the president himself, he keeps saying this is going to cost Mexico. Mexico's going to have to pay for all this. It seems to me that the industry, people within the industry, and eventually the consumers will pay for all this. What am I missing here?
No, that's a good question. So let me get a thing straight first. So what is a tariff on tomato? What it means is that every time a fresh tomato crosses the border from Mexico to Arizona, the U.S. importer is going to pay a duty, a tariff of 17% on any fresh tomato imported from Mexico. Say the price of a tomato is 100, now you're going to pay 117. Now, in the immediate impact on prices of tomato is that prices are going to go up. Then the question becomes whether Mexican producers are going to anticipate a lower demand from Arizonan importers, of U.S. importers, and they may end up lowering the price of tomatoes exported to the U.S.
Interesting. So there could actually be a balancing out once you get down that line?
I think if you look at research in the last 50 years, you say that there's going to be some balancing out. But it's hard to believe that it's going to be all the way. I think overall the prices are going to go up perhaps by 10% if a duty remains at 17%.
Will they go up higher in Arizona than they will in, I don't know, Idaho or New Hampshire? I mean,
it depends whether that state, the farmers of those states actually produce a tomato which is a close substitute of the tomatoes that we import from Mexico. Right? To the extent that there is no close substitute or alternative to the greenhouse tomato produced in Mexico, then the prices may change differentially depending where you live.
Interesting. All right. From what I understand here, Mexico supplies 70% of the tomato market in the United States. That's up from 30% just decades ago. It sounds like some dumping is going on. Is dumping going on?
I think to some extent what we need to point out is that over the years, the Mexican government has been subsidizing the production of greenhouse fresh tomatoes to the extent that we think that is impeding the fair game of competition and trade among countries. Then the case for anti-dumping could be made. Then the question is that this tariff would protect Florida producers, but it will still be detrimental for Arizona, because we are the big importer of fresh tomatoes from Mexico.
Andy, you mentioned fresh tomatoes and you mentioned greenhouse tomatoes. This is what comes up from Mexico. When you go to Florida, you got the vine. They're basically grown out of the ground or whatever and packed that way. They're grown green and then they turn red. And from what I understand, Florida tomatoes have nothing in terms of taste compared to the Mexican tomato. The Mexican tomatoes are grown to taste better.
Yeah, that's correct. I used to believe that the tomato is tomato, but
Yes.
instead there is so many varieties that of tomatoes, and that matters a lot because it's not easy to substitute away from the greenhouse production of tomatoes done in Mexico. Why? Because tomatoes can differ by size, shape, and flavor. And typically those that are produced with greenhouses have a different flavor and size and shape than those produced open field, like in Florida.
And open field, you got to produce them during a certain time of the year, I would think. And the greenhouses means they're available year round.
That's also an important advantage of having a greenhouse production that allows producers to smooth production over the year instead of clustering the production in a few months a year.
This 2019 deal that the U.S. signed with Mexico to prevent dumping, I mean, does that deal now go away with these? What happened to these agreements between the two countries?
So if you look back since 1996, there's always been agreement and suspension of agreements every 5 years. So what I'm expecting is that actually right now it's not unlikely that we have a new agreement where pretty much with the U.S. producers and through the Department of Commerce and Mexican producer, they sit to a bargaining table and they bargain over a new floor price, which is the lowest price that Mexican producers can sell tomato into the U.S.
And within those negotiations, I would imagine the tariffs would pop up again. I mean, he could go back on the tariff. He's certainly gone back on them before. He could do it here.
So typically what happens is that if you have an agreement, the agreement is based on a negotiated price without tariffs. If you don't reach an agreement, then we keep on having the 17% tariff.
Wow. All right, last question here. So I heard you say 10%. At what point do we start looking at tomatoes and saying, what's going on here with the pricing? Is that going to hit pretty soon?
I think, this price effect unfolds over the short term, the medium term, and the long term. I think overall, if we transit in a new regime of permanently higher tariffs, the price of tomato are going to go up. So there's nothing to think about it. How fast this is going to happen, it depends. It depends on whether we reach a new agreement in the next months or not, and whether Florida starts producing with the greenhouse production, that it may be hard to do it in the short run, but it can be done in the medium and long run.
Interesting. Good stuff. Domenico Ferraro, again, ASU, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.